Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today at the Matador Prime Steak YouTube channel. Today we're going to cook some St. Louis ribs, and we're going to do them two different ways. We're going to do a dry rib, where we're going to use the Meat Church Honey Hog Hot Barbecue Rub, and we're going to do a wet rib featuring the Wright Rub Barbecue Company's rub and peach chipotle barbecue sauce. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back. I'm going to show you how to get these ribs prepped, seasoned, and then we'll get them on the smoker. All right, welcome back. We've got our rack of St. Louis ribs here. These are what we call 3 1/4, meaning they're no less than 3 1/4 pounds. Big daddies, big meaty ones. So one of the things we need to get done, if you do not buy these from Matador Prime Steak, this is a step you're going to have to do at home. There's a thin membrane on the back of these ribs which flavors cannot penetrate. So we're going to take these off. The way I like to do it is I'll take my knife and I'll just go down the bone and lightly go right underneath it. Get it popped up enough that I can get my pinky in there and just slide it right underneath there. If I go all the way to the edge of the rib, I can then just peel this right off. If you're lucky, you get it all in one swoop. This one we didn't, so we'll just do it again in another part of the membrane. Same deal, right off like that, just like that, and these are ready to prep. All right, now that we got our ribs trimmed up, ready to go, it's time to apply the rub. So as mentioned, we're going to do two different flavor profiles on these ribs. One's going to be a wet rib, the other's going to be a dry rib. So first thing, even though it's going to be wet, we're going to start with a dry rub. And for that one, we're going to use the Wright Rub all-purpose seasoning. This is a great seasoning. It's got a lot of seasoned salt, a lot of brown sugar, so you get that, but it's also got things like granulated onion and some other basic spices, but it all works really, really well. What you really get out of it is the brown sugar and the granulated onion and the salt. So what we're going to do is we're going to give us maybe a bigger spot here. We're going to liberally rub this thing down. Get enough seasoning on there to definitely cover all the meat surface. Got it on the front, and because we peeled that membrane, we want to do it on the back too. This way you get the flavor throughout the entire rib, not just on the top. We're going to get that on there. Again, we're going to give it just kind of a nice smear. I like to do at least 2 coats just to make sure I've got everything covered, and it'll give us a really nice bark. There's the back side done twice. We're going to flip it over. Hit the front side. You can already see that sugar is starting to caramelize, even though it's only been on there a few seconds. So we're going to do that. Plus, I want to hit the sides of the rib, so everything I've got laying on the foil there, I'm just going to roll this over, hit that guy right there. So that's our Wright Rub. Now, if we move on, we're going to do the Meat Church. Meat Church is a great rub. Wright Rub's out of Alabama. The Meat Church is out of Texas. He does a lot of really cool stuff. I've yet to come across one of his rubs that I just didn't like. It's all awesome. But this one's great. It's called Honey Hog Hot, hence the honey, but then you get the heat. There's a lot of granulated jalapeno in this, along with the honey powder, which those are the two contrasting flavors that you're going to get with this rub. This one's going to caramelize great given the sweetness of the honey powder and the sugars. This is going to be awesome. So we hit the front, and just like on the other one, we're going to hit the back. Again, membrane's been taken off. Hit that. Again, just give it kind of a nice smear. Make sure we get all the meat. You don't want to take a bite of a rib and not get all the flavor. So we've got it once, let's hit it again. Nice, that's good. I like to kind of press it in, less of a rub, more of a press. Again, let's hit the sides of the ribs. And you see it's also caramelizing already, even though it's only been on there a few seconds. It's not real hot out today. It's about 70 degrees, overcast. It's the perfect day, in my opinion, to cook. It rained earlier today. The humidity's up, which will help keep these ribs moist while they're on the smoker. Alright, so we got those rubbed down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let this sit for about 20 minutes. The coals are still heating up. Once our coals get heated up, get them on the smoker. Welcome back. Got our ribs going on. This is the one with the Wright Rub. I'm going to put it on the right hand side so that we remember, because they kind of look very similar. So there's the Wright Rub. In fact, I'm going to put this at an angle because I don't want it too close to the firebox. We're cooking with a Good One reverse flow, what we call an over-under smoker today. This is where the meat goes, but the fire is actually over there, not at the end of like with some of the different smokers out there. My fire's in front. So we've got our Wright Rub. We've got our Hot Honey Hog barbecue from Meat Church on this side. We're rolling 225 with some pecan wood. Those are going in there. We're going to be back in about an hour and a half. We're going to wrap them, spritz them, and keep the cook going. Welcome back. We're through our first hour and a half of the 3-stage cooking, the 1.5, 1 method that I like to use. So the ribs have been on the smoke, straight on the smoke, partly it's a little windy, for an hour and a half. So we're going to go ahead and pull them. We're going to give them a spritz with some apple cider vinegar. We're going to wrap them, and we're going to put them back on. So let's go ahead and grab the first ones. See how they're looking here. Oh yeah, those are looking awesome. We're going to go ahead and pull the right ones with the Wright Rub off first. Those are great. Let's get a close-up shot there. We're going to go ahead and give these a quick spritz. What this apple cider vinegar does is adds a little bit of flavor, but the acidity will help to break these down during this next stage. So we've got that. We're going to go ahead and wrap them up. And then we'll get the ones with the Meat Church Hot Honey Hog on. Get those. You can see the bones starting to pull back a little bit there. That's a good thing. That means they're cooking. So let's go ahead and spritz these. Now, these are dry ones. We're not going to do any kind of glaze, but still you want this apple cider vinegar spritz for the tenderizing of it for the next hour and a half. So that's going on there. Wrap those up good. Use a heavy duty foil. Don't use just a cheap everyday rental trap. It'll break on you. These right there. Back on. Shut her down another hour and a half. And we'll be back with you 90 minutes. Hang tight. All right, welcome back. We've got the second hour and a half of our cook is done. So now it's time to start taking a look, getting the glaze on there. Oh, those are looking good. And those bones are starting to pull back. That means the meat's cooked great. This is the stage where you have to make a decision. Are you trying to look for a competition grade where it doesn't just fall off the bone? Or are you wanting what we call backyard barbecue, meaning it falls off the bone? Either one's fine. You just have to decide. And if you want it to fall off the bone, cook it longer. If you're looking for a competition, kind of what we call bite through, where you bite into it, doesn't pull off the bone, but it's still nice and tender, don't cook it quite as long. So what we're going to do, that's the Wright Rub. We're using the peach chipotle barbecue sauce from Wright Barbecue Company. It's really going to make a nice glaze. So we're just going to open this foil up. We're not going to take the ribs out. We're just going to open the foil, and we're going to let the meat firm up. The other one, which is our Meat Church Rub, the Honey Hog Hot. Remember, this is the one we're going to leave dry. It is wet because it's all the juices from the meat, but it's going to be dry, meaning we're not going to put a glaze on it. But I am going to sprinkle some more of this awesome rub on there. All right, we're going to glaze this again. These are looking awesome. Our dry one, it's looking great as well. We put a little bit more rub on there. So we're just going to keep this open. You can see the bones coming out of here. That looks great. So we're going to grab a little bit more of this, the Chipotle peach Wright barbecue sauce. We're just going to glaze it like that. Looks great. That looks awesome. Looks really good. So back on in there it goes. 20 more minutes. These are done. Next time you see us, we'll be cutting. Back in there. Those look good. Wet rib, dry rib. Alright, we finished the ribs. As you can tell, we got the wet rib and the dry rib. Wet rib is with the Wright Rub and peach chipotle barbecue sauce. The dry rib is with Meat Church's honey hog hot barbecue rub. Looks great. Got a good pullback on the bones, which tells me the meat is done. Obviously, this one is really done. But let's go ahead and cut in here and let's see what these guys look like. Rib looks awesome. This is the Meat Church. You can see the great smoke ring. Color is great. Obviously got to try this. That's really, really good. You can totally taste the jalapeno, the granulated jalapeno. That's awesome. The honey, gosh, just looks awesome. Here's the wet rib. This is the Wright Rub and peach chipotle. Dang, look at that. Look how juicy those things are. I'm done. I'm diving in right here. Yeah, that is spot on. The rub is awesome. The peach chipotle, the glaze of that peach chipotle just totally pops. It's got a nice, just a little bit amount of heat to it. As you can see, it's more of a competition style. That's what we call a bite through. It doesn't just pull off the bone. That's what you're looking for in a competition style rib. Like I said, if you want more of a backyard, fall off the bone, cook these in there 30, 45 minutes and that'll happen. But this is what we look for in a competition style rib. Well, those turned out great. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe our channel. Again, St. Louis ribs, these 3-pounders, are available at MatadorPrimeSteak.com. Remember, if it's not prime, it's just not the best. You guys have a good day.